A slightly different slant on it. I do have, and we've been talking about, Ash and I have been talking about this level for weeks and weeks and weeks, and anticipated that we would have a little bit of a pause here, if nothing else, a pause. And that's pretty much exactly what's happening. You can see really that this is the last line of defense for anything against the US dollar, this being the dollar index, of course. So my slant on this is that time and those data projections are suggesting that we don't do too much at all. If I go in a little bit tighter on this, you can see that level, which is 113 at the end of the day, has been the flavour of the last 3 or 4 weeks. Certainly the month we actually, that rally closed bang on it, and we haven't been able to decide which side of it we want to be since. That's a month ago. This chart here is the one that I'm most interested in, and it's the daily chart. And to me, it's suggesting that price doesn't want to go below 110 and it doesn't want to go above 113. I've narrowed that range down a little bit into 112 to 113. So there's 100 units in there. And I think the best course of action for me certainly would be to play this range until proven otherwise. And that would be obviously for me initially a break of that. Well, there's a confluence there really. Ash pointed that trend line out and it's perfectly valid. And it coincides beautifully with the bottom of the range and pretty much the monthly pivot. So until I see that break and be retested, I'd still be looking to trade that in a range. So what I'm saying is dollar long this week. Do I want to trade that as a entry? No, I don't. I certainly want to see some proof that that can be the case, and that would be with a higher low on this chart for sure. So not looking to trade that at all until we see proof against that or for that. Breaks down under here and retests it, then different ball game, and we're headed for here 110 or 109 rather, which is this level, this next level down here. So convert that into anything like against the dollar. My favourites are not currencies at the moment, I've got to say, because they're very, very difficult to trust, in my humble opinion. Can you trust the euro, really? It's been as weak as lolly water. Can you trust the yen? Same, if not worse. Can you trust the Aussie? It's under pressure because really of the RBA. The CAD, oil's falling or had a little bit of a rally back. There's an interest rate decision on that this week. That's pretty tough. So where do you go? I take Ash's point and I'm headed towards the Kiwi, and we'll have a little look at that in just a tick. But there are half a dozen or so, maybe 7 or 8 game changer bars this week, and that's of course where I start my week. The first of them is indeed Eurocad. I'm actually long Eurocad at the moment, so I don't like that candle at all. I was playing a break and retest of this level, and on the back of a double bottom higher low scenario. Certainly not out of that at the moment, but this candle suggesting that we do go short. I think it might be prudent of me to put a short entry underneath that bar just to get a little bit back if this does go south. Then it's probably going to get back underneath that trade line. So I'll be considering that. I won't be trading anything outright until I see what the market does when it opens, of course. The gaps in the market can make a big change to what these game changer bars actually mean. Here's my favourite of the week, though, and it's Euro Kiwi. I'll go to my analysis chart to show you why. And it's all to do with that broadening pattern. If I go a little bit wider, you'll see where that's coming from. And we seem to have come off the top of that with that massive move on Friday. Of course, I don't want to play that bar because it's too big. But what I would be looking for on the daily chart is a break of that monthly pivot and then a retest of it, or a lower high up in this vicinity somewhere off the double top, off the top of that range. So that's number one on my watch list for the week. It's Euro Kiwi short, and either would do break and retest of the monthly pivot or a lower high. That's what I'll be seeking on daily charts and maybe even 4-hour charts as we get into the week. I think that's the best of the game bars. If you wanted to trade it, then by all means I don't think you're going to be in too much difficulty. I think down here looks to be a pretty good prospect down to, and you've got about 500 points till you get to there, and your risk is probably 200. So if you want to trade that, happy days, but I'll be waiting for proof that that is going to follow through. The next one is pound Aussie. Look, I just want to steer clear of the pound at the moment. I think it's really, really difficult to trade because of the situation with prime ministers, and my goodness, what a mess it is, as Ash has pointed out. And I expect volatility here. Look, it may be a good thing to trade because of the volatility, but you need to get your direction right pretty fast, and you need to get out of there pretty fast, I believe. But I'll be leaving it alone. It does have a big broadening pattern similar to the euro versus the Kiwi, but I just can't trust it, so I won't be doing anything with it. The next one is pound Aussie, pound CAD. Pound CAD, I'm also in a little bit drawdown on that one as well. It is suggesting that we go short, but it's really more a spin than a reversal bar. So once again, with the pound, I'll just be holding my position and doing nothing more and looking to the stars and going, help. Pound Swissy, exactly the same scenario. It is a game changer bar to the downside. Interesting technical level, this one. We have a look at the monthly chart. You can see that we are at a strong support level, and we're retesting that support level. Can we actually expect this to go further down? Well, it hasn't been there forever. My opinion would be that we're going to stall here for a little while, similar to what we've talked about on the dollar index. But a bear bar here would get me interested long. So in other words, I'm looking for a higher low to be able to trade that long. The game changer bar is suggesting that we go short. I don't disagree with that, because that would ultimately give us the opportunity to produce a higher low. I don't think we'll be trading the bar, that's for sure. And like I said, the pound is very, very difficult to trust at the moment. On the smaller time frames, if I was looking to trade this at all, I'd be waiting for that to become a false breakout of this level. So price underneath here, retest it and trade it back to here and look for that lower high on the weekly chart. What else have we got? Pound Kiwi is the last of the game changers. I know there's two more. Actually, pound Kiwi on the weekly chart suggesting that we do go short. I was actually in a short on this early in the week and maybe got out a little bit earlier than I should have. Although, if you look at the daily chart, I had good reason to do it. Well, you may not think I had good reason to do it, but I did have good reason. I made money on it and moved my stock to entry too early, and that's proved to be a bad idea. I think as far as the game change is concerned, the directional bias is correct, but again, I want to see a lower high before I trade that. That looks a bit off a lower high. That would be the way I want to go. So pound Kiwi short. Dollar yen is the last of the game changer bars this week, and more of a spinning top than it is a reversal bar. Look, it's like throwing darts at a board and going, okay, is this the time that I'm going to hit the bullseye, really? Because this thing's just going nuts. Dollar yen since, what, 2020. Let's call it COVID. This is a COVID curve, if you like, and it's just gone absolutely nuts since then. The yen so weak. Ash alluded to the yen potentially getting a little bit of strength about it, and this bar is suggesting that may well be the case. But really, to trade that short there is like trying to pick the top of the market, and as we know, that is a very, very dangerous position to take. If you waited, and this goes back to the dollar index as well, wait and see what happens. And Ash was saying exactly the same thing. Wait and see what happens with the dollar index. And if you find that you get a lower high here, then maybe you've got an option to trade it short. But really, it is super overbought, no question. But to trade it short right now is taking your life in hands, in my humble opinion. There is one more, and it is probably the one I prefer more than any of the currency pairs aside from the euro versus the Kiwi, and it's gold. Gold versus the US dollar. Again, going back to that dollar index chart, you need to see proof that this can turn around. And I don't see any reason why gold can't go back to this level here, which is circa 1700. 1700 would be where I'd be looking to trade gold to this week. Nice little double bottom sitting there. Higher low, that's for next week. Daily, you've already got a bullish engulfing bar. You've got the monthly pivot in your way. I wouldn't be concerned about that because the entry can't come for me as an entry here. It can only come as a higher low. But if you wanted to take the weekly game changer bar on, providing there's no big gaps in the market tomorrow, I think it's a reasonable trade to take, frankly. You could buy it here above the bar. If you go a bit tighter, you've even got a wick to come off. You get your entry above the monthly pivot. You can get your stop loss below here or here and get some profit in the bank at that level. I don't think that's the worst trade by any stretch of the imagination. And outside of the currency pairs, I think this is the one that I would prefer to trade. Short term only, because this trend line here and the bigger picture is certainly not bullish for gold. There's no question about that. But short term, I think there's an opportunity there for us. And the other one is its silvery cousin, a silver versus the US dollar at a massive, massive confluence area. And we flagged this last week as a range trade coming off that level, got back inside the range and didn't really give us an opportunity to trade it. But you can see the result of that. Now, a higher low, pulling back to the monthly pivot would be perfect if you can get maybe Monday, Tuesday bars coming back to the monthly pivot there and giving you a rejection bar of that level. I think trading silver to the top of that range makes perfect sense. Silver didn't quite qualify as a game change bar because it's inside the previous. But again, it's strong on my watch list. So the three I want to be very, very keen about this week are Euro Kiwi short, gold and silver versus the dollar long, but I need to have those setups, of course. We shall see how they pan out. Maybe on Tuesday or Wednesday we can look to get into those directionally. I'm pretty convinced that that's the way they're going. All right, guys, that is it for Sunday market update for another week. My thanks to Ash and Sam for looking after me, and my thanks to you for being part of our weekend. Have a wonderful rest of it and a wonderful and profitable week ahead. See you later. Bye-bye.